Anie wasn't a household name until the internet exploded over one shocking headline. A claim so bold, so unbelievable, it instantly made her one of the most talked about OnlyFans creators in the world. Social media platforms lit up, debates erupted, and overnight, she became a symbol of both fascination and controversy. The headline: Anie reportedly admitted to being with 583 men. But the real story behind that number and what it reveals about internet fame, adult content, culture, and society's obsession with viral figures is far more layered than any clickbait article could capture. So, who is Anie? And how did she become the center of one of the most viral internet discussions in recent memory? Anie is a British content creator known for her work on OnlyFans, the subscription-based platform that has transformed the adult entertainment industry. But before the fame, before the headlines, Anie was just a young woman trying to find a place in the world. According to interviews and podcast appearances, she didn't have a conventional path. In fact, like many who turned to online content creation, she came from humble beginnings and faced more than her fair share of judgment and struggle. But what she did have was a clear sense of agency, a willingness to speak out, and an understanding that, in the world of modern media, attention is currency, and attention is exactly what she got. The internet's jaws dropped when Anie appeared on a podcast and casually made the claim that she slept with 583 men. The number alone caused a frenzy. Within hours, the clip was everywhere: TikTok, Instagram, X, Reddit, and every gossip outlet you can imagine. People didn't just react, they engaged. The reactions ranged from shock and mockery to admiration and curiosity. Some people questioned her motives. Others praised her honesty. But one thing was clear: no one could stop talking about it. But here's where things get interesting. Was it even true? Or was it a calculated move by a savvy content creator who understood how virality works? Anie never backed away from the number. But she also never insisted people believe it. What she emphasized was her freedom to make her own choices, to define her own career, and to own her story regardless of public perception. In her words, she wasn't trying to impress anyone. She was trying to be real. Anie's story taps into something deeper than the surface-level shock factor. It opens up a raw and uncomfortable conversation about how society views women who openly talk about sexuality, especially when they take control of it for their own gain. If a male celebrity made a similar claim, would the reaction be the same? Why is it that when women embrace their choices, they're called outrageous or immoral, while men are labeled players or legends? It's not just about numbers, it's about the meaning we assign to them. In one of her most widely shared interviews, Anie talked about the struggles she faced growing up, the pressure to conform, and how choosing to work on platforms like OnlyFans wasn't tea. She knew what people would say. She knew she'd be judged, but she also knew she wasn't alone. Millions of women around the world turn to similar platforms for income, and very few of them ever get the chance to speak openly about what that experience is like. Of course, not everyone saw it that way. The backlash was immediate. Some viewers accused her of spreading bad values, while others said she was just chasing clout. Online forums debated the morality of it all. Influencers made reaction videos, dissecting every second of her interviews. But even in the face of overwhelming criticism, Anie stood her ground. She didn't ask for validation. She asked for the right to live her life on her own terms. And in today's culture, that's more radical than ever. What's ironic is that in trying to discredit her, many people ended up amplifying her platform. Her subscriber count skyrocketed. Her name trended worldwide, and major outlets started reaching out not because they were interested in the truth, but because they knew her name generated clicks. Anie became a brand, not because she followed the rules, but because she broke them unapologetically. And let's be honest, whether you agree with her or not, Anie tapped into a growing trend: the merging of adult content with mainstream fame. The days when adult entertainers were confined to the shadows are over. In the age of social media, content creators of all kinds are influencers, entrepreneurs, and, for better or worse, celebrities. Anie's viral moment didn't happen in a vacuum. It's part of a much larger shift in how society consumes fame and controversy. In many ways, Any night is a mirror. She reflects what society is willing to reward, what it's quick to punish, and how fast we are to judge based on a headline instead of context. Her story is about more than a number. It's about the uncomfortable intersection of fame, freedom, and the public gaze. But there's another side to this story that often gets overlooked: the personal toll of going viral. Anie has spoken about the mental health challenges that come with sudden fame, the anxiety of being misrepresented, the emotional weight of reading thousands of comments, some of which were cruel, others degrading. She didn't have a PR team or a brand manager. She had herself, her story, and a platform that turned her life into a spectacle overnight. And yet, through all of it, she's continued to create, to speak, and to stand by her choices. Whether you see her as empowering or controversial, there's one thing that can't be denied. Anie night made the world stop and talk. In a digital era where attention is everything, she owned the moment. So what happens next? Anie's followers are growing. She's hinted at starting a podcast of her own, possibly diving into the real lives of adult creators and pulling back the curtain on what that world actually looks like. She's already been approached for speaking gigs and interviews, and she's reportedly working on a memoir. That number 583 might be what caught everyone's attention, but it is clear that Anie wants the world to see there's more to her story than one viral quote. And here's what we can all take away from this moment. Internet fame is fleeting, but impact is not. Anie night may not be the role model you expected, but she's forcing a conversation that many have tried to avoid. A conversation about choice, stigma, and how we treat women who live unapologetically. If we're honest with ourselves, maybe the real story isn't about Anie at all. Maybe it's about us, the audience. Why were we so shocked? Why did the number trigger such strong reactions? And why do we keep pretending that people like Anie Night Dante exist until they go viral? Love her or hate her, Anie Night is part of the cultural conversation now, and she's not going anywhere. If you want more bold celebrity stories that challenge the norm, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the Celebs Empire, because in a world full of filtered truths, we bring you the moments that actually matter.